Okay, let's take a walk downstairs to the shop. First, of course, when you start down the stairs, you're going to see my Hall of Fame, as I like to call it. Got my favorite NASCAR driver up there, and one of the pictures of my car I really like real well from the 2011 Midi. And of course, you got to have a little picture there of the GT40. That's what inspired all of us Corvair guys that built V8s. So let's move on down the stairs here. See what we can find down here. The old floor is pretty clean. We've been cleaning on this thing for a couple of days. Of course, as you come downstairs here, the first thing you see is the beer cooler. We've moved it from where it used to be. You can start over here in the corner. That's the door to my office. We won't go in there. It's pretty ugly. I've got everything around here, of course, on rollers that's possible to put on rollers because I need as much room as possible. So things get stored along the side of the wall here until they need to be used. This, of course, is the back bench. Got a few items mounted on that. And, of course, you got to have a good bolt nut collection. On over here is the ever-popular Bead Blaster. Once friends know you have this, or relatives know you have this, they'll pay you much more frequent visits. I also have the soda blaster attachment for it, which is good for blasting heads, blast carbon off pistons and all that, and doesn't stick in all the little places like glass bead does. And here's my bench grinder, which I have this belt sander attachment. This thing beats any grinding wheels I've ever had on there. Got a lot of different kind of belts you can put on it. I'm going to step back here a little bit to some toolboxes. Mostly I have Corvair specific tools in the Craftsman on the right, and this one over here I've got a lot of grinders and air tools mostly stored in that. Of course, hopefully this will come true. We'll find out. More to come. Come around here. Got my jack stands. Got some aluminum jack stands this year. And the Sunoco jack stands I usually took racing with me. My Earnhardt clock I made out of one of his tires. Got the certificate to say that it really came off his car. It's big E, not little e. Over here in the corner, kind of cleaning supplies. I got my cherry picker and the ever popular degreasing tank. And we hit the door here. This is the door out to the back drive. All the decals and stickies you see stuck on the door there have magnets on the back, so they can be rearranged, taken off, cleaned, whatever needs to be. The main toolbox over here in the corner. I thought once that I'd really be rolling this around, but this thing actually stays put. And of course it's very convenient to my workbench. Right there where the vise is where most of the work goes on. And of course, if you look at the floor down here, it's gotten pretty beat up, melted. I've dropped everything imaginable on it. We have a vacuum cleaner underneath the bench here for just cleaning around the bench area. Tool storage under here, plus some parts, other little odds and ends. And of course, I've just rehabbed my whole back wall with new pegboard and some new tools here and there, and my rehabbed genuine military type Air Force toolbox. I had to do a little replumbing while I was at all of this. I replumbed my air pressure regulator to the main hose up here. This is what I run the air tools off of, so we're setting it around 80 what do we got? Yeah, about 80-90 pounds for the air tools. Now the hose over here on the end with the blow nozzle, that's a full 175 psi. I've just got a little water separator on the end of that. You don't run air tools on that or they don't last very long. Yeah, we move on around here. I'm trying to create me a wall, maybe like Warren's Folly wall, although this wasn't exactly Folly. This is what happens when you race Corvairs. So let's walk on around here. Of course, we have the main HVAC unit here. Here's a neat little item. Somebody might recognize it, somebody not. Maybe not. That's a back scratcher. I think Janet's daughter got that for me, and I finally found a good place to mount it. Every now and then, that's the best thing going. Part storage back here. It's kind of messy right now, but we'll get it straightened up one of these days. Just some place to put junk. We purposely downsize, so there isn't a lot of room for junk. That means I can't acquire a whole bunch of things. Of course, in here, oh, we didn't turn the light on. This is the laundry room and the toilet, as it were. This little deal right here is the best thing we're going. Janet found this thing in a used restaurant supply house. Of course, it's a stainless steel deep sink. Great for washing off many, many different kinds of parts and what have you. And I even let her use it occasionally. Ha! Washing machine, dryer, that sort of stuff. We just come right on back around here. This is storage under the stairs here. Mostly Christmas stuff. This is my paint booth. I just hang stuff right there, turn on the fan, and paint. And as you can see, it's kind of nasty back in here, but that's what happens whenever you make a paint booth out of a little spot in your basement here. And back over here, I built some storage shelves behind the door here, since it was space that wasn't being used, so it is now. Alright, let's walk back on around here. Again, this is the other side of the main toolbox. Changed a few things here lately, and of course my paint storage up here, which is made from PVC pipe and a wood frame around it, and glued them all together. And now you can see the paint, see what you're getting. I write on the bottoms of the cans what it is. And in any can that has a green piece of tape on it, that's the current can I'm using, as if there's more than one of them. Very interesting. It works much better than what I had before, when I can pull one off the bottom without visiting all the rest of them. Did that a couple of times. Okay. Now you see on the floor, I have a line painted here. Now it's not dead in the center of the door, but it is dead in the center of my working area. As long as I park the car with the center on this, and then, although I got to redraw them, there's some lines drawn right at the center of each wheel. That way I can park the car in exactly the same spot every time. If I don't, then I either have too much room on one side or not enough room on the other side. So that works out well for me. The car is always in the same place. And this also is the most level spot in the garage, which I use that and put it up on my little riser boxes I made here. And then I can do my wheel alignment. I have turn plates that goes on top of those riser boxes. Set those boxes down here on my crosshairs, my center lines. Put the car up on it, and we do our alignments. You want to be careful though that it doesn't roll off. Well, that concludes the tour of Corvair Alley.